talk about dog rescue because I recently, the other day, had somebody, I was getting my nails done, Jesse, and somebody was like, "Hey, Jen, I thought about you this morning because a friend of mine, got this dog who had been abused and now they can't take care of it. So I thought about you." I'm like, "Oh, I love that you're thinking about me.
No, I don't want
But,
another dog.
but what were you thinking about me for?" "Oh, I was thinking that you would know what to do. Like, can you take the dog? Do you know somebody that could take the dog?" And, that makes me happy. Like, I want to fix it. I want to help all the animals. And so let me just fast forward and it is a success story. I think, fingers crossed. I got in touch with the Saver of Souls Rescue that I do some stuff with. And they're like, "Okay, yes, like let me reach out to some fosters. We'll try to get this dog." So one of the fosters is going to meet the pup today and try to get it out of the situation it's in. So fingers crossed. But you've recently have delved into the dog rescue world with your little cutie.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
Not little cutie.
Yeah, huge. I guess she's 10 months old now. And I've never had a puppy before. Like all the dogs that I've had have been 4 and
Yeah.
5 years old. So not only am I dealing with a puppy, but I'm dealing with a puppy that has had zero training. And so
Yeah.
it's been a learning curve. She eats a lot more than all of my other dogs. I mean, it's a Great Dane. So, she's as tall as the dinner table. So we're learning to like navigate that. She's still like having accidents. She's getting up at 3 a.m. It's like a child, I think. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's a lot, but it's been fun.
And you weren't looking for this to happen either. You're just visiting your mom, people next door, bad
Yeah.
situation. Hey, let me take these dogs.
Four
Like,
Great
just
Danes in
give
a
me the dogs,
car
please.
from Florida. Yeah.
Four Great
Yeah. It
Danes
was not
starving.
anything I expected, but you know,
Well, you
what I
did
do have to
good.
say about all of
Hmm.
this is that
Yeah.
Mike Lyon, dogs do belong in the bed. That's all I have to say about that.
Yes. They do. They do. They do. And they can be under the covers too. I mean, I've got two that bury themselves underneath the covers. I don't even know if they're breathing under there, but they love to sleep under there. So
Yeah.
okay, Jesse, dog rescuer, dog whisperer, OSC whisperer. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Yes, today is episode 6. It is our first episode of the new year that we are recording. And with me today is the amazing online sales coach extraordinaire, Jesse Suggs.
Howdy
Yay!
do.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year,
Happy New
Jesse.
Year.
Happy New Year, online sales specialist. It's a new Jesse. Do you get excited for the new year or do you come into it like with anxiety?
Oh, I get excited. I mean, I'm one of those that I map out my goals and I make a word of the year and I create an action plan and I feel super motivated at the beginning of the year. And then I continue to stay motivated if I follow through. Whether I do that or not, we'll
Mm,
see.
that's
But
that's
yeah,
the
I'm
key.
super motivated.
We talked about that on the last episode of, setting goals, getting your plan mapped out. That is super important. Before we get into what online people are talking about right now, there was a couple of quick like housekeeping things I just wanted to share with everybody, or Jesse and I wanted to share. First of all, IBS is coming up the end of February. And a lot of times you wonder, should online sales specialists attend the International Builder Show? That is what IBS stands for, not irritable bowel syndrome. That's not what we're talking about. But the Builder Show, which is happening in Las Vegas this year, yes, you should attend as an online sales specialist. Jesse, you attended when you were in the seat.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I learned a lot.
Yeah, now there is much more education geared toward this role than there has been in the past. So definitely attend. Of course, we have the Nationals Award ceremony where some of the brightest individuals in the industry are going to be showcased and highlighted for their work this last year. So we're looking forward to attending that for sure. And then Jesse and I have an online sales academy coming up in April. Talk a little bit about what that is, Jesse. And by the time this podcast airs, we will have tickets available. So, what is the Online Sales Academy?
Oh gosh, only my favorite thing in the whole year. So the Online Sales Academy is for either newer online sales specialists or online sales specialists who have never had any formal training, or maybe it's been quite some time. They need, a refresher on the basic fundamentals and best practices. And so this is going to be virtual, but it's a small, intimate group of online sales professionals learning what it means to even start a program and then continue to grow that with processes and best practices. And so it is April. What is it? It's the very beginning of April, 3rd and 4th.
3rd and 4th.
Yep.
And like Jesse said, it's virtual. So you don't
Right.
have to travel, which is awesome. And we stay with you for after the first 2 days, we're with you for an additional, I think it's 8 weeks, right, Jesse,
Yeah.
that we're doing some on-demand training with you. We're doing some virtual check-ins. It's really a great comprehensive program. And we have a lot of interest on our interest list so far. So definitely we can put the link in the show notes. If you want to check that out, don't wait because we keep it small.
One of the biggest questions I've been hearing is kind of like, what is the time commitment for this? What, if somebody is actively working, is this something that they can also do? And it is. So it's 2 days of live virtual training. And then the 8-week, tail end of that are 1 hour, either Zoom meetings or on-demand meetings. And so it's 1 hour, typically twice a week for that continued training after the first 2 days. So that answers any questions.
You can still do this while you are managing leads. 100%. Absolutely. Yep. Very cool. Okay, Jesse, let's talk about what online people are talking about right now. Word on the street. Now we're only a few days into the new year. So we've only had a few coaching calls to really kind of get a pulse check. But what we're hearing is that, hey, we're busy. We've got increased traffic going into the new year. So I wanted to verify this with our amazing team over there in marketing land. Hey, Kevin Oakley, what's happening with the traffic? And since December 28th through January 1st, we had a 10% increase in traffic to builders' websites across the country. And that's what our online sales specialists are saying. Jesse, what are you hearing?
Yeah, I've had a couple coaching calls and, we're doing a wrap on last year and kind of what's going on at the beginning of this year. And it's feeling really good. Like I'm feeling like not only, and I just talked to a team yesterday, they said not only is the number of people inquiring increasing, but the quality, less tire kickers, more people who are actually asking questions or engaging with the calls and things like that. And then something from our brilliant marketing team as well, Andrew, the ad doctor, said that when he was looking at Google Analytics, looking at the performance, kind of pulling a metric from August the 1st through today. So when this airs, this is, beginning of January, that watching the clicks on the website, it kind of started to increase slowly, but jumped the day after Christmas, which was really interesting. I guess everybody's off work and really starting to gear things up for their goals for next year. I don't know if that has any alignment, but it has just continued since December the 26th to increase across the board. So yeah, all things in the same direction.
Exciting. Get those happy hips ready. Let's roll. Listen, speaking of the day after Christmas, so, Do You Convert was off basically that week. And while I was off, I was sitting there thinking about this brand new online sales specialist that I know was going to start taking leads. We had met before the break and I was like, okay, you're going to start taking leads or whatever. You feel good. She's like, yeah, I'm pumped. I'm ready. I'm like, all right. So I was thinking about her. I'm like, okay, I wonder how that's going. I'm going to let it sit for a few days. So when I got back into the office, Jesse, I sent her an email and I was like, hey, are you managing the leads? Like, what's happening? And she's like, am I managing the leads? Yeah, I set 32 appointments during the week of Christmas. 25 have shown up so far, and I've already had a sale. I love it. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
This is a new breed of online sales specialists coming through the door. I'm telling you, I mean, I had somebody just the other day who made their first ever phone call. So they made first ever outbound call, never taken an inbound call, set an appointment on the first one. And by the end of the day, she was like, yep, I've set 4 appointments already. And so these are just, it's gearing
So,
up. I love it.
so I'm just I'm gonna put this out there. Shout out to Alex at Crescent Homes. Fantastic job. So I hope you listen to this,
Yeah.
and we're just really proud and excited for you.
And let me give my shout out.
Oh, hit
Eden,
it. Hit it.
Eden with Mitchell Homes. She was the one I was referencing. So
Okay,
kudos to
Eden.
you.
Come on now. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's rock and roll. I'm excited. Okay, so let's get into our topic today, which kind of leads us into at the beginning of the year, Jesse, like you said, you have a word of the year that you typically do. You have your goals, and you had a recent post on LinkedIn that I absolutely love. It was brilliant, where you talk about what your word of the year is. And so talk about that. Tell everybody. And if you, I'm curious to know, like, do other people do this? Do other people have words of the year? I don't know. I know we do. I think it's a thing, but what is yours? And talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, I love doing a word of the year. I don't know. It just kind of sets my intentions for what I want the year to look like early. And I really spend some time thinking about it most of the time. Like I kind of start thinking about what my goals are in December at the beginning. And this year it kind of like went out of my mind, full transparency. Like I didn't even think about what my word of the year would be. And so I started thinking about it and it just popped right into my head. And it wasn't typical. It wasn't something that I thought it would be, but the word was less. And the reason why it's less is because I wanted to focus on like less stuff, less acquiring, less rushing, less stress, less
Mhm.
comparing, less competition, less enabling, less of a bunch of things so that I could make room for what matters. Because Jen will probably tell you in the years prior, we go over our goals together. We keep each other accountable. And some of them were really unattainable. And it was like more, more, more. I want to do more of this. I want to make sure I do more of that. And I never met it. And it just left me a little bit discouraged. And so I did set a side note from the word of the year. I did set a challenge for myself this year to run a half marathon, which I told myself for the last 3 years I was going to do. And I was so determined to do it. I did it like the last week of December. And I was like, Jen,
you just went ahead and did it.
yeah. So I got to do another one now, but
Let me get that out of the way.
yeah. Yeah. But it was less distraction. Like I just kind of stopped making less excuses and I just did it.
Oh, Jesse,
So,
I love this so much. You're Marie Kondoing things out of your life.
That's
right?
right.
To make
Yeah.
room for the really important things that you want to focus on. It's just like we say, more leads poorly managed doesn't equal more results.
Yeah.
Like less leads, better managed, you're going to get better results. Same thing with your goals and your life. Like let's simplify, let's focus on the really important things. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. What about you?
So I had gone out there on the record and put this out into the universe like in December that my word of the year was going to be discipline. And I was thinking like, oh yeah, discipline. This is perfect because we've really got to focus on the behaviors and get disciplined on that in order to see the results that we're going to need for this next year. So I was really focused on that until also during the break, while I was thinking about Alex, I was cleaning my office and this sign that is behind me is actually two-sided. Normally it says give and teach on it. And so I was taking everything off my shelves. I was cleaning. And on the other side, I kind of forgot. On the other side, it says success. And it's actually a Maya Angelou quote. It says, success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. And so I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, no, I'm changing my mind. Success in this frame of mind is going to be my focus and my word of the year. and my intentionality, because that discipline and those behaviors and all of those things that we do in online sales, it doesn't really matter, or you're not going to be as good at it if you don't feel successful, if you don't like what you're doing, if you're not proud of the work that you're doing, and how you feel about it. Like when you get off that phone call, did I really enjoy talking with that person? Was I proud of that phone call? Did I feel like I really went for it and got that appointment and I saw a result? Like that is being successful. So I think, focusing on that, the other stuff will fall into place.
Yeah.
And we were talking, go ahead.
Sorry, Jen. I was just going to say, I think success looks different for a lot of other people. So like figuring out what does success look like is part of the success itself. Is like looking at what your goal is long-term and saying, when I get here, or when I feel this, or when this happens, that's what success is. And then, you've met it. I think that's really important.
And I was talking about this on the Market Proof Marketing podcast yesterday. And, we were kind of talking about the same thing. And Kevin Oakley said, I want to add to that and say, and like who you're doing it with.
Yeah.
So, and that it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like working together, like collaborating, Jesse, you and I and Amanda and Mike, like it's just magical. Like being able to work with the people that you really enjoy and work with the partners that you really enjoy. And the work might be hard. Right. And what were you saying the other day? Like it's hard, but
hard. Yeah.
You want to do it
hard.
Yeah. Hard things are hard.
But
we need to learn to do, like the Duke women's basketball coach says, right? Kara Lawson, we need to do hard better. Don't wait for it to get easier, but do hard better. Right. So we are here for it. That's why we have this podcast too, to help you do the hard better, and be able to have those discussions around the things that are hard. And remember, we'll talk about whatever. So we want to hear from you. If there's things that you want us to discuss on here, please, email us at show@doyouconvert, or you can email any of us directly. Jesse at DoYouConvert, Jen at DoYouConvert. Please let us know if there's topics that you want to talk about or questions that you have. Speaking of questions, we have a video in our mailbag.
Drum roll.
Yes, I am going to play this, and then Jesse, we're gonna answer her question. So Presley from Simmons Homes has a question for us. Let me see if I can share this right now. Okay, here we go.
Oh, love her.
Oh my gosh. Presley from Simmons Homes. She is an online sales specialist there. Let's see what her question is, Jesse.
Hi, Jen. It's Presley with Simmons Homes. My question for you is, what tool or resource do you recommend most for an OSC to use? Thanks. See ya.
I love this question. And I love that she's thinking that way. And what a great time of year to be thinking that way. Like, okay, is there something new that I need to be doing for 2024? So Jesse, what are your thoughts?
This it might not answer her question directly, but when I heard her question come in, I started thinking like, okay, what's obvious to people? What do they need? Their CRM, their call tracking system, their reporting doc, a setup, professional environment, a quiet background, all of those things. Those are simple, but the answer that came to mind first was really knowing how to master those tools is really the best tool that you can have. And so having a CRM is great, but if you don't know how to use the resources in it to, streamline things or pull specific lists or organize your data or do things in mass, it's not serving you well. And so taking the time to pour into what your company is already providing you is going to be one of the best tools that you can have. And then outside of that, as a new OSC, just having a prospecting card is kind of what we call it, or a card that has all of the areas that you're looking to get answered at the beginning. is super important because you get so excited, you get on the phone, they ask for the appointment, you set it, and then you get off the phone and you're like, oh, I forgot to ask these 3 things. And if it's right there in front of you, that's super, super helpful. And then for the OGs, I'm sure everybody already has a pair of good headphones, but my pro tip is get a pair of wired headphones. And I know I have a brother-in-law who's 14. Y'all, my husband and my brother-in-law are almost 19 years apart. And yeah, I just gave away my age, I guess. But he saw me with these wired headphones in the other day and he was like, how old are you? I mean, he's like, nobody uses those anymore, Jesse. And I was like, number one, I never have to charge them. And so I never had an excuse to not answer the phone. So even when I would keep my phone in my back pocket and I'd keep my headphones in when I was an OSC, even when I got up to go get a cup of coffee or go do something else that was not right in front of my computer. So those are
Did you take your phone to the bathroom? I must know.
I mean, yeah, I did.
I mean, I did.
I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to call myself out. What I would do, because I was a freak. I mean, I did not want to miss a call. I was really focused on all of those things, even 4 years plus into the seat, it mattered to me. And so I would take it with me into the bathroom. And if it happened to ring, I would answer. And then when they were talking, I would mute it.
Yes.
And as I'm flushing, I can't unmute it. And so then I would take myself off mute and I would go, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My phone got muted. I heard everything that you said. I'm here. And they would be like, oh my gosh, no problem.
Okay. Same. I don't know if I'm proud or concerned.
Right.
Hey, listen, I think the point is, yes, like have a bathroom break, have a lunch break, like totally fine. But like the importance of or the urgency that you need to have within yourself of every time you miss a call, that's a missed opportunity. Like that's how you have to think about it. So, okay, this is really kind of spooky, Jesse, but I didn't, we have insider thing, we have like our show notes that we kind of put together. Like, okay, these are some things we're going to talk about. And so Jesse knew that was going to be the question, right? That we had, but I had the exact same answer in my head. We did not talk about this, but before you get any new tool or any new thing, make sure that you really are using the current tools that you have really well. I can't tell you the number of times that I start working with a new online sales specialist or company and, I log in to look at the CRM or log in to look at, CallRail or call tracking or whatever. And it's not really being utilized to the fullest extent. Like, hey, did you know that you can create groups or lists or have these extra things that you're doing, the call track, the form tracking in the CRM and using those notifications to follow, like dashboards. There's so many things that you need to make sure that you're using in the current tools that you have. CallRail, for instance, the new lead center, way more robust. And a lot of people are still not using that or don't really understand it. So take some time to really learn the current tools that you have would be my advice. And it sounds like that's Jesse's advice as well.
I think we have the same advice because there's a correlation between the usage of tools and the success in the seat. I mean, we get to see lots of data. We get to see a ton of performance from online sales specialists, and those who master their stuff typically are at or exceeding the industry benchmark. So I'm not surprised we had the same answer.
Of course not. Great minds, great minds. Okay. It is time for the skills check because guys, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself, says Ice Cube. That is not, I just want to give credit to Ice Cube. That is not a Jen Barkin quote. So Ice Cube, which I'm so excited because he is coming in concert here. So your girl's going to be there. Stay tuned.
Tell me when. I'm driving.
I think we should do Olivia, you're going to have to come too. I think we should do a live Online People Talking podcast at the Ice Cube concert and have him come over. And Olivia says yes. Have him come over and do our skills check segment.
Can you even
Let's make it
imagine?
happen. I know. I'm putting it out into
Call
the
your
universe.
people.
Putting it out into the universe. Olivia, can you make that happen? Let's go. Okay, Jesse, as we were talking about, we're getting busier. Like, okay, spring market is happening now. Let's rock and roll. First thing I think about is we've got to get really organized in our day. Like, we've got to be structured. We've got to think about time blocking. We've got to get into a routine. What's our first priorities? So this is a time to assess, like, what are our first priorities? Answering our phone, lead management, appointment setting, reporting, prospecting. All of that is first priority. So it's like nothing else happens until those things happen. And when you get busier, it's real easy to slip into a reactive mode, like the hamster on the wheel. Like, come on, baby, let's go. We are on that wheel. We are being reactive. We're being responsive. So in order to get into that proactive phase, we've got to do time blocking. Jesse, what are your thoughts on this? Because you're really good at this. So I want to hear what your thoughts are.
Okay. Now everybody knows how much of a weirdo I am. Like, I'm answering the phone in the bathroom. I'm psycho about my calendar.
It must be stopped.
I know. My biggest piece of advice, and I actually just talked to a team just a couple of days ago about this as well, is when it comes to time blocking and being able to map out your priorities and make sure that you get those done and still leave time for secondary priorities, which are still priorities, is to really utilize, and it goes back to the tools, but it seems simple, but you have a calendar with your email. And if you look at mine, I have by the minute what I'm doing, because it gives me a nice little reminder. Okay, in 10 minutes, you've got another task. Go ahead and wrap up what you're doing, tie it up with a bow. And, as an prior online sales specialist, if I heard somebody say that, I mean, I would probably roll my eyes and say, okay, great, that works for you. But for me, I don't know when calls are coming in. I don't know when my boss is going to need me. I don't know how many, new leads are going to come in. I don't know what distractions I'm going to have. And I hear you. Like, I hear you loud and clear. We've been there. We've done that. We see it. We've done it the right way, the wrong way, the easy way, the hard way. But I can tell you with 100% certainty that if you put blocks on your calendar daily, for what you want to accomplish that day, you're going to accomplish more, even if you don't get it all done. But also, long term, putting on your calendar tasks that that you have to do recurring. And that's great because months go by really quickly. When we start talking about prospecting, or we talk about cleaning up and doing an audit of your system, those things kind of go to the wayside if you're distracted with new stuff, the new shiny, bright lead that wants an appointment. And so, I think blocking off your day, there's a study that talks about how you will fill your time with the tasks that you designate. So like if you have 8 hours a day and you say, I'm going to make 20 calls and manage all of my leads, you will use that 8 hours to do that. But instead, if you say, hey, I'm going to delegate 2 hours to this, you're going to fit it into that time frame too. It's just, we're humans. And so blocking off your day and putting reminders has been super, super helpful for me.
Love it. One thing that I like to do is at the beginning of the week, definitely one thing online sales specialists, like before you go into your day, don't roll into your day hot. Give yourself some margin in the morning to have some proactive thought of, hey, before the phones start ringing and things start happening, let me think about, 2 or 3 things that I really want to accomplish today outside of normal lead management. And if you're super busy, maybe that is making sure I have inbox zero, making sure that I take care of all my follow-up tasks today. That could be it, right? But you're thinking about it. You're creating a must get this done 2-day list. I like to have on Monday, I have my must do list, and then I have my would like to do list. And by the end of the week, if I have something still hanging out on my must do list, I'm not finishing. Like I am not wrapping up work until my must do list is complete. So, but it takes creating margin around your day. And I know that is hard. I know that is hard. Like, I feel you, because I wasn't great at it at first. It took me, this takes practice. So what we're saying, like Jesse said, rolling eyes. Like, I probably said this to her and she's like, okay, yeah, great, Jen. Thanks. I had 100 calls today. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, I get it. And it takes practice and it takes time. And every day is not going to be amazing where you feel like, oh man, I accomplished everything I was going to today. But you make a good college try at it and you put a plan in place and you try to execute. So awesome,
Jen,
awesome. Yeah.
Someone really wise once told me, whether it's personal or professional or whatever is going on, if there's a negative thought or distraction or something that's keeping you from moving forward, that this is deep, but her therapist told her, you have to physically stop yourself in your mind and say, we're done with that. You have to say, we're done with that. And then you actually act on whatever it is that you want to do. And you truly start to rewire your brain. So if there's a time where you're like, oh, I'll call after lunch. They probably don't want to hear from me at 10 a.m. They're busy at work like me. We're done with that. We're going to call them now. We're going to get it out of the way. And it starts to rewire the way that you think. And so that was something that I'd started doing a long time ago. And it's really helpful.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Just want to run a marathon. Just do it right now.
Just go out there.
Stop thinking about it. Oh my gosh. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. This has been fun, Jesse.
Yeah.
It's my favorite time of the day.
Yeah. This has been a lot of fun. I'm really glad that this turned into a podcast.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Thank you all for listening so much and Happy New Year.
2024. Let's do it.